Hello everyone, my name is Machine Gun Hunt and welcome to another Destiny 2 video. In this video, I'm going to show you a really nice build I have made, and I gotta say, it makes me feel like a freaking anime sword hero. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First off, what we need to do is get the lament, which we already have. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link a video in the description box down below. So go ahead, go to that video, get the lament. It's an awesome weapon. It's literally one of the best weapons in the game because of its damage output. It does freaking twice the damage of falling the guillotine, which is awesome. So let's just go ahead and look at the lament first. First off, we have Jagged Edge, great perk for a sword. Enduring Guard, good for defending. We have Tireless Blade, which is great for damaging enemies or killing enemies. So every time you kill 2 enemies, you get 1 ammo back, which is awesome on this weapon. And then we have Ray of Consumption, damaging a combatant heals the wielder. So this is really good because if you're up and close and personal towards the enemy, you are harder to kill. So really good on this sword, especially if you're taking on majors or even ultras, especially in hard activities. And then of course we have the special perk right here, Banshee's Wail. You press L1, the block button, to rev up the blade, and then you get increased damage, and you could shield bypass any opponents. So it adds a shield piercing to all attacks, which is awesome. And then you gain stacks when dealing damage with rave attacks, and you gain additional attacks to increase damage and resistance of heavy attacks. So basically, the more damage you do, the more resistance you take on for damage, and the more damage you do as well, which is pretty awesome. I do love this weapon a lot because it kind of reminds me of the Crota's End sword. When you're fighting Crota, you actually have different ways of dealing damage. So, for example, you could do light attacks only. You could do heavy attacks only. You can have a combination of light attacks and heavy attacks. And depending on how much energy you have all sorts of cool different combos that you can have. Me personally, is always light attack, light attack, light attack, and then heavy attack for the lament. You do seem to do the most damage with that if you're revved up and ready to go. Plus, it wastes all of your energy consumption, which is awesome. So get this weapon, check out the video in the description, and grab it as quickly as possible. There's no catalyst in it, which is awesome, so you can have the full benefits of it as quickly as possible. Plus, there's excellent backstory to this, to this weapon as well. Alright, so we have the weapon, right? We're revolving our build around the lament. And we're going to call this the Berserker build, and it's going to be called Berserker for a good reason later on in this video. So let's first talk about the requirements of this build. First, the biggest things you need is a arc-based head slot item, an arc-based arm piece item, and then you're going to need the perks that are required in order to get good amounts of charge time, good amounts of stacks with light charges, all that stuff, okay? So we'll just go from top to bottom, and I'll tell you what the requirements are. So first off, what we need is arc base, and we need radiant light, simply because we need to have a lot of strength for this build, simply because of this perk right here, hands on. Now hands on makes it so that every time we get a melee kill, we get bonus super energy, and since we have radiant light, we have our super energy with our melee attacks. So every melee attack you get increased super energy, and with this right here, you have a higher chance of getting your melee charges, which are more powerful, which makes it easier to kill your enemies. So this is a great perk overall. It not only gives you plus 20 strength, it also casts your super every time you have nearby allies. They become charged with light. And with this build, we are going to be casting our supers a lot, so this will help out your allies as well. So a little bit of a support role here, but this is mostly based off of damage. So what we next need is, of course, sword ammo finder. I kind of wish we had 3 of these slots, so we have 2 sword ammo finders, and then hands on, or we can have 2 hands on and 2 sword ammo fighters, but that would just make everything OP, so we're not going to have that. And if you have a room, either get intellect or strength on this piece as well. Just focus on stat increases towards intellect or strength. Okay, so next off, we need the Arc Gauntlet right here as well. And what we need is a charge with light ability called Lucent Blade. Now, I know a lot of people don't have this, perk, but it is one of the best simply because it increases the damage towards sword attacks. And with Lament, this is an extra bonus. So while charged with light, dealing damage with sword gives bonus damage towards sword damage for 5 seconds, consuming 1 stack with light. So, kind of like how high energy fire works, if you kill an enemy, uh, you spend your charge with light. So if you deal damage with a sword, you deal one. You're consuming 1 stack. So as long as you charge with light and not using your sword, you could keep the stack as long as you want. So let's say you could use Empowering Finish, you finish off an enemy, and then you get a charge with light. You could keep this on until you take out your sword and deal damage. So I'm not gonna be like one of those guys who have like more than one like charge with light mod, using like 2 or 3 of them at once. However, I am going just to keep one at a time. But if you do feel like you want to do it, high energy fire is right there for you, as well as some other abilities that could help you out with some abilities. And what's best is with Lucent Blade and Radiant Light, it also counts as an arc-based weapon. And this is really important because Lucent Blade not only gives you bonus damage, it also greatly increases the charge rate of your equipped sword, which is super important because the more charge you have for the Lament, the more damage you do. So it's extremely important to have 2 arc mods with you at all times with this build. So we have Radiant Light and Lucent Blade, which fits perfectly with this build, especially with the strength and super energy combination. And then next off, you have a pretty free range of what you need to do here. So what I personally like to have is plenty of sword reserves, so you can have more attacks with your sword, as well as a charged up mod right here. Now, if you have enough energy, go ahead and get this mod right here, supercharged. Instead of getting 1 charge with light, you can get 2 of them. So you can have a total of 4 of them when you have charge with light. So they basically, if you were to pick up orbs or like use Power Finish, then it's not necessary to keep doing it. You can basically keep it up with the whole fight if you're doing fighting, especially if allies that like to spawn orbs, which is pretty often if you have like a fully masterwork item like this gun right here, or if you're casting supers all the time. So this is pretty simple, you know. Sword ammo reserves, that's nothing special here. Plus charge up with light. You could really you don't really need this at all really. You could have like freaking healing, you can have another like shield break charge, you can go ahead and do like a raid like ability if you wanted to, but whatever your choice is, completely up to you. Heck, I'll probably suggest even having like, extra strength or extra intellect with this build as well. If you have a high chest piece, then you could completely do that as well. Alright, then next up, Sword Scavenger. It's basically necessary to take this up because the more ammo you pick up, the more you can use the sword. So, Sword Scavenger, pretty obvious right here. I mean, there might be some abilities here, but I feel, better already is probably good if you pick up lots of orbs, especially if you're coming close and personal. So I guess you can pick this up as well, For namesake, we'll just do that right there, Sword Scavenger, better already. You're picking up orbs, you heal up, I mean, you're going to be healing up with Laments, but if you're healing up with orbs too, then hey, that's not a problem as well. And then taking charge. We must get charged up with light anyway, so picking up orbs, I guess these 2 mods will go very well with each other. And then plus, we can get some more strength here. We love that, right? Booyah. We got 81 strength here. That's awesome. Alright, so then lastly, probably one of the most important things here is this perk right here. What we have here is Berserker. Now, Berserker is extremely important with this build. Now, depending on what subclass you're using, if you're using a Stasis subclass with the special fragment that gives you more bonus damage towards every time you freeze an enemy, Berserker is not necessary for this because it basically works the exact same way. And how mods work is that basically if you have a mod and a buff, basically the mod and the buff will stack with each other. So if you're like if you have bonus damage because of like weapons of light from bubble, plus you have berserker, that means you can do it stacks, so it increases bonus damage with that. So swashbuckler, berserker plus weapons of light, you're gonna do loads of damage with this. Now, if I'm wrong with this, point me out in the comment section. I will make a correction on this. But I'm pretty sure Berserker does stack with mods, with buffs, because this is a mod. And how mods work is its own thing, so that means it does more damage. And then, of course, we have Surge Eater. And then I'm guessing, well, we don't really need Surge Eater unless it's like we're going against champions, which you probably can if you're using like the elements, but I think we could have more strength here as well. Probably works out. And then of course we have empowered finish, become more stacked with light. A pretty simple build, however the results are worth it. So Berserker is really important unless you have the stasis subclass. And let's go ahead and check this out. If you have this fragment right here, you basically don't need it. Just keep that in mind. If you want to go ahead and grab something else using this Whisper Heldrins, then go ahead and switch things up with your class item. Especially, I don't know, I guess maybe some more intellect here as well. But Stasis is OP. You can go ahead and use, and with this build, you can use whatever subclass you want. Me personally, I think the Shadebinder is really good for this build, as well as Stormcaller, as well as Voidwalker. Now, for Titans, I would say Bottom Tree Sunbreaker is great because you get more ability charges, and you can use your melee and your hammers to go ahead and deal loads of damage towards enemies, which you get more DPS with Berserker, which is awesome. And then maybe for guns, and then maybe for hunters, maybe using Blind Barrage or Blade Barrage, I should say. You can go ahead and use like the Gauntlet of Galanor or something like that, and you can get more super energy by doing it. So if you cast more super energy, the more damage you do, you can use Lament and you can heal yourself up no problem. So for me personally, I have two suggestions for Warlocks. It's either going to be the Stormcaller right here, middle tree, or bottom tree, simply because I like subclasses that increases their ability charging energy. So with this perk right here, Rising Storm, electrocuting melee ability recharges super, grenade, and melee energy. Same thing that happens right here, Iconic Trace. When you grab a trace, it grants energy towards all your abilities. So that means more melee, more super, more grenade, all that stuff right there. And I do forget to mention this. We do have momentum transfer. So causing damage towards your grenade reduces your melee cooldown. So using your grenade, you get more melee. With more melee, you get more super energy. More super energy, you get more damage, which is very, very good right there. Each of your abilities are doing something, and it's always good to have as much abilities as possible, especially using Stormcaller or Voidwalker. Now, Voidwalker is good because you do have Devour, so you could heal up as much as you want and use your melee abilities to go ahead and get some more damage with Nova Bombs and all that. Just taking out a whole bunch of ads with your Nova Bomb. I do like to use Nova Warp a lot because you do get your abilities pretty quickly. So the more you get your abilities, the more chances you get of increasing your DPS with your abilities, especially using your sword or even your primaries. Now, primaries, not a big deal with this build. Gnawing Hunger is always great. Sniper rifle, shotgun. I probably suggest a sniper rifle with you because this is a pretty close and personal build. So using a sniper is probably good for like DPS against bosses or shooting like far away like streakers, something like that. So it's probably good to always have with you a sniper at all times. So I guess this right here is the fundamental build. Now, I have most success with the Stormcaller as well as Middle Tree Voidwalker. Stasis is great as long as you don't have the Berserker perk on because it'll just cancel each other out with the fragment there. So keep that in mind. Now with armor exotics, I only have what you could do is you could have like Nezarec Sin for your For your Warlock, you could have like the Galanor, Shade of Galanor, that if you have more super energy. There's like some exotics that gives you more melee charges. I think all three characters have more melee charge. For Titans, Infantry Manifolds go for it. Every time you kill enemies with your, Yeet Titan with your melee, you can get more super energy. And every time you use your Yeet, you can go ahead and kill a whole bunch of enemies. And you can Yeet as much as you want. And you can get more damage with DPS and all that stuff, which is honestly sounds really fun with this build. You could definitely have loads of fun yeeting as much as you want, using as much power with Laments, getting as much DPS as possible, all that great stuff. And with Warlock, I'm most familiar with Warlock. The only two suggestions I have is Claws of Ahamkara, really good for getting lots of DPS and bonuses, especially with your melee attacks. I do like either using Voidwalker with Claws of Ahamkara, especially with Middle Tree. However, Bottom Tree does work as well, so just choosing that right there. And what's also good is I do have an Arc Energy Claws of Ahamkara, which is great. So I can just keep that going with it. Now, I do have also a great suggestion. One of my favorite exotics is Geomag Stabilizer. So what's great about this is I can cast my super more often because one, it extends the Chaos Reach, which means if I kill more enemies, I do more damage. And sprinting gives me more super energy, so I could cast my super more often. So if I cast my super, guess what? Berserker is going to activate more often, therefore I do more damage, therefore I can use more Lament damage, therefore I can go ahead and take out as much enemies as possible. This is a Berserker build. You're going to attack as much enemies as possible, close and personal. Make sure you keep attacking your opponents, making sure that you're healed up, you're resisting damage, you are ready to go. So yeah. Get up and close personal with your allies, with your teammates. Just take out as much enemies as possible, and you will be good to go. Yeah, that's about it. Pretty simple build. You could definitely increase your abilities because if you have 10 energy on all your things, you can get more stat increases towards intellect as well as freaking strength, which maximizes your potential here. What's probably good is also have a good amount of recovery and resilience on this character as well. But honestly, if you're healed up with Lament, you shouldn't have much problems with it. So biggest thing to focus on, strength and intellect, and secondary, if you can, recovery and resilience. So I guess if you can make a perfect build, all of these would be like 100, and then like you can have plus 10 to every single one of these, and have this one have sword ammo finder and hands on, and then yeah, you have an awesome OP sniper rifle that has like triple tap and like field prep and like extended mag and all that, as well as like hands on with like damaging ultra mod boss spec right here. And then you can have like the best gnawing hunger, which is like the perfect build right there. So yeah, that's the build right there, guys. Pretty simple. It's really easy to replicate. I do want to make builds that aren't necessarily like as much mods as you need. So that's why I'm making these budget builds, but they have the most results right here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do some PvE because I need to increase my charge with doing like Wraith hunts. So yeah, let's go ahead and do, we'll do a Nightfall. 20, that sounds about right. We do need like, some prisms and stuff like that. And let's go ahead and get started. Alright, boys. Oh, this boss fight. I hate it. Unfortunately, this boss is going to be harder to hit because they float in the air, but that's okay. There's plenty of ultras that we could take on. Ooh, that's lucky. Plus, Pulse Wave is good for like survival tactics, especially if you gain damage with Lament. Alright.
Those aren't spiders falling.
There you go, healing up. I need to heal up, I'm dead. Well, I could have survived there. Oh well. If I didn't fall, I would have survived. But as you can see, the more damage you do, the more you could heal up. We're probably gonna face some like unstoppable stuff, so I should switch to my hand cannon. It's a pretty useless hand cannon, but it's alright, I guess. It does have Vorpal, which is good for ultras. Plus it reloads if I get damaged. There we go. Simple as that, boys. Loads of damage, all that stuff. I need my orbs. There, I'm charged with light. I'll save that for later. Alright. So far, so good. Where are you, boyo? Oh, nice. See, I get my increased charge rate pretty fast. Okay. Simple as that. Healed up, ready to go. Champions appear. Yeah, let's heal up. So as you can see, loads of damage. You could play pretty conservatively with this, especially with bottom tree Void Walker. But I could be pretty aggressive. Boom. Plus, if you have a ranged melee, you can get Swashbuckler on this gun right here, which isn't a problem at all. So you can have loads of good fun with it. Alright. And then I get an orb, I'm healed up, ready to go. I have my super now. I can go ahead and do Berserker right now, actually. I can kill this guy pretty easily. Now I have Berserker. Just unstoppable right now. So as you can see, it does last for a long time. See, that's what happens. If you have like Devour on, then that's pretty easy to take on. But you just gotta make sure you can line up everything perfectly. So, I had the damage boost, plus I had Keen, so I was doing loads of damage around that time. Which is pretty easy. As long as you're charged with light, then you're good to go after you're casting your super. And that guy died. Whatever, we can redeem ourselves. Not a problem. We can take on the champions with Lament, no problem. Here, we'll take them on right now. Here, we'll get this. Put it in here. Be careful. Simple as that. See, loads of damage, no problems. Pulse monitor. That's why I love this build right here. I can use my favorite exotic and I still get to reap the rewards. Golly. Come on. Pulse wave is always a good backup.
There she is.
Honestly, with Kamehameha, I can have a great range attack, so a sniper wouldn't matter that much. As long as I keep melee, I'm fine. That was useless.
I've never heard of a brood queen so close to the surface. Mission reports from the Hellmouth on Luna don't even mention them.
Well, that's good to know. Alright, so we keep on going. We'll try not to die. Hello. Hey, big boy. I staggered him. What the butts? I staggered the man. I staggered the man. He didn't do anything. Bungie, fix it. That's okay. Avoid and evade. Typical hunter tactic. All right. Finally. Come on, man. I should have finished him. That's fine. That's fine. So we could do the shriekers. Alright, never mind. We have a sniper in the group. It's always good to have a sniper in the group. Alright. Is that another champion there? Hello. Okay, I'll take, if he can take on the Shrieker, I'll take on the champion. Oh, come on. I killed him before he killed me. Stupid, man. Again, guys, snipers. It helps out a lot. You see, this is where you get the part of YouTube where they show you the bad clips, you know? It just shows that we're not perfect. But that's okay. This is an up and close personal build. And honestly, this strike isn't really good for this build anyway. But as long as you have a sniper and like some good Kamehameha stuff, it should be a problem. Honestly, I'm not sure what the perks are anyway. Increased damage for melee. Oh, maybe that's why I'm getting killed all the time. Void damage is increased. Nice. Rule number 1 of strikes, guys. Always look at the modifiers. Maybe I shouldn't be up close and personal then. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. Simple as that. Thank you, damage boost. Easy as that. I need those orbs so I can get my charge with light. There we go. Thank you, teammates. I appreciate you. Oh, whoa. That's a hunter jump, guys. Oh, a champion has appeared. We could take him out, no problem. Boom. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 2. As my strike team would call it. Or my raid team back at D1. Alright. Miss. Think I can attack her from here? Yes, I can. Boom! Look at that DPS. Rev up and look at that damage, guys. Even without any boost, it's awesome. Golly, man. If only there were enemies around, I could do more damage. Okay, champion has appeared. Hopefully it's not a ogre. Oh, it's not. Thank goodness. There you go. I can get Chaos Reach, I'm good to go. See, even without all the mods, Lament's just awesome for damage. Once they are split, we'll do that. Look how much heal we get healed, man. It's crazy. Where are you? There you are. So Lament, not that bad for flying enemies. I like it. It's definitely the best aerial weapon, I'll tell you that. Best aerial sword in the game. I do like that about it.
That wasn't the agreement.
Oh, there was no agreement, little monster. Just considerations, mights, and maybe.
Alright, so Seraph, doesn't matter. Got a good Gauntlet. 67, that's actually great. Melee kills increase melee damage. Hey, maybe another good option for this build. Who knows? Anyway, guys, that is it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go ahead to like, comment, and what's your opinions on this build? What kind of subclasses would you want to use for Lament? And then make sure you go ahead, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get to know when I make the videos available for you guys to watch. And yeah, I thank you guys for your availability just watching these videos. Up to 200 subscribers. I can't appreciate you guys enough. So yeah, thank you guys. God bless. See you next time. Goodbye.